Hi guys, it's Aegis here, and finally I'm here with a deck profile again. It's been a while since I do a deck profile last time, and this time I will be going through my narukami deck build. So first we have our starting Vanguard, nothing special, just went right on it, draw one card, so everyone got the same card, doesn't matter. And next, I'm running 4 of the Detonic Stinger Dragon. So his skill is when he appears in Vanguard Riga Circle by counterblasting 1, then you can bind one of your opponent's front row regards, and during the turn, if you bind it, basically even if you don't bind, but you still can get the 5k power, which is very nice because you can keep kind of killing your opponent's regards, and they probably won't have a way to get them back usually. And what makes this card so valuable is the second skill. When this card is when another unit is riding on this card, and you can call this unit to a Riga circle, and during the turn select one of your Vanguard and get 10k power. So it's like a break ride and you get a free unit. And since you call you will call the Stinger out again, so you can counter blast one and bind your opponent's front row reguard again, which is very strong. And also getting the 5k power just by putting this guy on a XL circle, he will be a 27k attacker with skill, so very nice. And next, I'm running 4 of the Detonic Steel Dragon. I'm actually surprised that this card doesn't rely on other units and he can just play by himself, because usually when you have a like VR Vanguard, you usually will need to have a grade 3 in soul, or you need to ride on a grade 3 some kind of stuff, but with this card you don't need to. But of course, if you ride on a Stinger, you get a 10k power, which will help with this card's skill, which is when this card attacks the Vanguard as a Vanguard, you can counter blast 1 and bind one of your opponent's front row regards. After that, count your opponent's regards, total number of regards, and if you drop your hand equals to the number of their regards, then after the battle ends, this unit will stand, get 5k and -1 drive. So like if you can kill your opponent's regard as much as possible, the most ideal way is you just counter blast 1, kill one of the stuff, then you don't need to drop a hand and waiting to restand with 5k boost and 1 drive minus, which is kind of good. So again, as I said, this card doesn't need to rely on like Stinger to get the power, don't need to ride on a grade 3 to get a skill off, don't need the soul to have a grade 3 to get a skill off, which is very nice. And then I'm running one of the Great Convoyager Dragon. So this card is kind of weird, but he's strong. So a first skill, during your opponent's battle phase starts, for each front row that doesn't have a unit on your opponent's field, this card will get 3k power, and if it's your turn, instead of 3k it becomes 5k. So assuming your opponent's only got 2 front rows, Riga circle, and they're empty, during your turn this guy will be 22k, and during your opponent's turn he will be 18k. So high defense, high attack, but you need to find a way to work out something so that he can gain the power. And if you like running out of counter blast, then there are chances that you don't have any power, and most of the time during your opponent's turn they will try to call something out so that you won't gain power, but that doesn't matter because the next turn you will have new targets to bind with. So still a very good card. And next I run one of the Draconic Kaiser Vermilion. So his skill I think is better than his old self, but as a skill it doesn't quite fit in the new way of running Narukami. So the skill is to counterblast 2 as a Vanguard and its active skill. By doing so, this unit will get 5k and 1 crit, and if your opponent front row regards is 2 or more, then instead of getting a crit, this unit when he attacks, he will attack all the front row units. So it's like his old skill plus a chance to gain a crit, which if you ride on Stinger that will help, but most of the time when you ride this guy it's because you don't have a Stinger, so it's a little bit contrasting, but sometimes because I don't feel I don't have like much to do, and if my opponent's got like no front row regards, I normally won't want to ride a Stinger, and instead ride on this guy, get the 5k, get a crit, and try to force them to guard. So he got his uses, but not as much in his deck, but as a backup I still like one of it. Then next I'm running 4 of the Recklessness Dragon. So I first thought this card is like the key of my grade 2s, but find out that's not, but he's still useful. The skill is by counterblasting 1 when he appears on Vanguard and Regard Circle, bind 1 of your opponent's front row regards. And when this card as a Regard attacking Vanguard, if your opponent's front row regard is 1 or less, then during the battle this card will get 3k power. So simple 12k attacker, and by just riding and calling this guy you sort of guarantee to bind a front row regard, so not bad. But there are times that you are running out of counterblast by using Stinger, using Drill, using Vermilion, and he will just stay there as a 12k attacker. Not bad, but when this deck is actually using a lot of counterblast, you need to be very careful to use this skill. And next, I'm running 3 of the Draconic Death Sides, which I'm thinking of having 1 more in the deck, maybe in the future. So his skill is, first when this card appears in the Regard Circle by Soul Blasting 2, bind 1 of your opponent's front row regards, and during the turn this card will get 3k power. And when this card attacks the Vanguard during the battle, if this unit, the same line, got like no opponent regards, then he will get 5k power. So this card is like a perfect match for XL, because you just need to play this guy on an XL circle and basically he just get the 5k power and become a like 24k attacker and can hit anything. So very simple. At first I thought the Soul Blast 2 will be too heavy, but most of the time I'm using the 5k power skill more than the Soul Blasting, and if I'm running out of counterblast, the Soul Blasting skill is great, so I might put in a 4th copy. Then I'm running 3 of the Dust Plasma. So his skill is as a regard, during your turn, when your opponent regards is being bind, during that turn, this unit and the unit like behind or in front of it will get 5k power. So very good power boost, and easy to create great numbers. Even just by himself, he can be a 14k or 24k attacker, depends on where he stands. But I have to say, most of the time I don't get his skill off, because I usually got the guys that can activate his skill while I don't have him, or when I need to ride him, or call him when I don't have any units to bind. But that's my case. But I still like to try to give more power to this deck, and that's why he's here. And then I'm running one of these, I don't know his name, but it's from the trial deck. So when this card appears as a regard, by counter blasting one and soul blasting one, then you can bind one of your opponent's front row regard, and if you do, during the turn this guy will get 10k power, so he will become an 18k attacker. Basically can hit force, and the reason why I'm putting this guy in is because I've won the soul blast, and I'll explain why I need that in a sec, which is right now. So I'm running 4 of the Rising Phoenix. So the skill is, when this card is in the drop zone and in your turn, when your opponent's regard is being bind, then you can call this unit, and if you do, during the turn this unit will get 3k power. So it's like an infinite reborn 11k attacker or booster. So basically explain why this card is here. You can guard with it, you can ride, and then soul blasting it. There's many ways that you can put this guy to the drop zone, and just by binding a card, then you can call him back. Next, I'm running 4 of the Demolish Dragon. His skill is very nice. First skill is if your opponent front row got no units, he will become 11k attacker. So simple, gain power, and you always want your opponent doesn't have any front row regards after you using all the binding skill. So basically kind of guarantee to get the power. And when this card as a Vanguard hits opponent Vanguard, you can draw one. So if you're going second, you always want to ride this guy and maybe get something to boost, so to force your opponent to use some great shield to guard, or they let you draw one. And I'm running 2 of the Ricky. This I might want to add one more here because of the skill is quite useful. Skill is, when this card appears on the Vanguard and Regard circle, by soul blasting one, during the turn this card will get 3k power, and all of your opponent's regard on front row and back row will change the position. So basically, if you see something that you hate from the back row, you use this guy's skill to pull them out and then bind them out. Or if you are going to do a finisher and your opponent's got 2 grade 2s ready to intercept, you just play this guy, blow them back so they can intercept, they got less shield value. And of course this got a soul blast skill, so I can combo with Rising Phoenix. And I'm running 2 of the Dragon Dancer. I don't think most people like to use her, but I do, because her skill is when your opponent's front row regards is 1 or less, by putting this card into the soul, during the turn select 3 of your regard to get 5k power. Because there are times that your attacking power is not enough. It's like Recklessness Dragon will be 12k, so if you are fighting a 4 stack, you still need like 1k at least to go past. That's why she is good, and she filled in your soul, so you can use more depth size, you can use more other soul blasting resources instead of just using them more and run out. So that's why I like to put her in. And for the triggers, I'm running 2 crits. Sometimes use 4, just 2 is enough. 4 of the draws, and then 6 fronts. And if you see my previous video, you will see how great the front triggers works for the stack. And 4 heals. So that's basically it for this deck profile. What you always want to do is ride Demonic Dragon or ride Rising Phoenix, so you can get to draw a card, or you have a card that you want to Soul Blast so that you can reuse. And on grade 2 you usually want to ride this, or if you don't have a choice, then Dust Plasma. Then get to grade 3s depending on how the situation is. If you got time, then you can ride on Stinger and rewrite a Stinger or ride a Drill. Or if you need to like fight very fast, then you can just ride on a Drill, try to restand and finish off that turn. So, or worst case, ride on him, try to kill your opponent's front row if they are like using Aqua Force or anything, so they don't have anything left. Or usually other clans that you just ride him on and gain 5k and a crit and swing and hope you can win. This deck is not good at fighting long games, so you always need to try push yourself, be fast, and basically that's how an XL deck works most of the time. But don't stay on the game for too long. Try to finish your opponent as quick as possible, but don't do a grade 1 rush unless you basically your hands is full of grade 1s, then you have no choice but have to rush. But if not, start rushing from grade 2 and then go to grade 3, trying to aim for 1 to 2 turn kill. That will be the way to win, at least for my case. So let me know how you feel about this deck, and I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.